and welcome to a brand new series of Michaela's Wild Challenge. Now for this series, the challenges have got so intense that I've decided to recruit a couple of unsuspecting helpers. Little do they know what they've let themselves in for. Let's meet them. Well, you two have got some amazing challenges to try and complete. Some will test your nerves, your strength, your staying power, and just about everything else. Are you up for it, Jamie?
Michaela, bring it on.
Ellie?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Well, let's have a taster of the sort of challenges these two are going to have to get up to in the first programme. Well, as you two are newcomers and I'm an old hander, I'll lead the way on the first programme and I'll take the first challenge. Here in South Africa, this is a very typical sight, a small herd of cows grazing and chilling out by a waterhole. And in fact, to some tribespeople here, their wealth is very much dependent on how many cows they have. So this farmer isn't doing too badly. Well, time for my next challenge, and hopefully it'll bring me closer to some really wild animals. Let's see what it is. Get to grips with the largest fish in the world. Well, the largest fish in the world is a whale shark. It's a huge, impressive creature. So first of all, I've got to find one. So I better head down to the coast and I better get a move on. Right, I'm ready to find myself a whale shark, and I bet these weren't the sort of goggles you were expecting me to put on. But you know, whale sharks are very big animals and they live in a very big area. So before I take to the water, I thought I'd take to the air because that is the best way to spot one. And I'm going in one of these, a microlight. So David, what are our chances of actually seeing whale sharks from the air?
Well, fairly good. We saw 5 yesterday on the way up here. We did a recce this morning. We saw nothing.
Oh no,
But,
that's not what I want to hear.
But here's hoping. It's nature. We never know.
We took off and headed straight for Sodwana Bay on the northeast coast of South Africa. This time of year, whale sharks are often spotted in this area. Experts believe that this has something to do with migration. To increase our chance of spotting anything, David took us really low over the water, and it wasn't long before we were rewarded with our first possible sighting. David pointed to the waters below and we descended to get a better look. There it was, 50 feet below us, a huge shark-like silhouette swimming gently along. It was definitely what we were looking for, a 5-meter whale shark. We headed straight back to land as quickly as possible. Time was of the essence.
Well, that was just fantastic. Not only do I feel like I've soared like an eagle, but we spotted a whale shark. David, you're a star. So now all I've got to do is head for the water and put slightly different goggles on.
Great.
Well, now to achieve my challenge, this mask is going to be a little bit more suitable. I've got myself a boat. I've got some great local help here. Let's go and get to grips with a whale shark. Okay, fun.
Let's go, it's good.
Brothers Mark and Wayne, who frequently dived these waters, took us to where we'd spotted the whale shark from the microlight. Hopefully this shark would prove to be friendly.
So Mark, I've seen the whale shark from the microlight. I know vaguely where it is, but my challenge is to get to grips with it. So have you got any suggestions?
Well, it is a giant fish, as you'd no doubt have
Yes.
seen from the air. I would expect it to be 3 or 4 times your body length. Okay, the plan then would be to bail off the boat and swim up next to it. It probably won't take too much notice of you because you're quite insignificant next to its own size, so it's not threatened by you at all. And of course, it doesn't have teeth. It's the biggest fish in the world and it feeds on plankton.
And so how am I going to get to grips with it?
All right, Michaela, the key here is to get you alongside the shark next to the dorsal fin
Yeah.
so that you can put the tagging gun right up against.
I'm tagging it.
You're going to be tagging it.
Okay.
This is a huge contribution to science. If we can tag these animals and know where they travel around the world, we can learn so much more and learn to manage them much better. So the whole idea is that you're going to swim up next to the shark
Yeah.
with the tag on the spear, the tagging gun. You'll be perpendicular to the animal, pull the trigger right next to the shark. It'll go into the very thick skin. In fact, the shark won't even feel it. Pull the spear back out, we'll swim with the animal for a while, see that the tag's set, and you'll have made your contribution and hopefully achieved your challenge.
With David still in the air guiding us, we quickly made our way to where the shark had been spotted. And sure enough, a large shadow soon appeared from the depths.
There's the whale shark. We found it. It's actually quite a small one, about 5 metres. And it's going to look a lot bigger once I get in the water.
I quickly got into the water, but finding such a big animal in such a large ocean can be surprisingly difficult.
It's just in front of you, guys. Keep going. It's just in front of you. Keep going on your line, straight in front of you. Just in front here.
Still ahead.
Just ahead of you, 5 meters. You're nearly on it. Straight ahead.
Eventually, we caught up with this impressive fish, and its sheer size was amazing. But with a couple of flicks of its huge tail fin, it sped away, and no matter how hard I finned, it still managed to get away from us. We'd lost it to the inky blue waters.
Mark, that was absolutely hopeless, wasn't it?
I don't think we're going to have any luck with that little one.
We got on top of it at one stage, and then there was just no chance. It was so fast. It swam like an Olympic swimmer.
You feel under pressure for this challenge?
Oh, gosh. Are we going to give up with that one?
I think we should. Let's try and find another one.
Dave, I wonder you can help us. Can you get up in the microlight and spot us another shark? We need a bigger one if possible.
Calling on David once again, we were soon on the hunt. This time he'd spotted a bigger shark, and this one appeared to be more docile. The chase was on, and it didn't take us long before we were ready to try again. Hopefully it would be second time lucky. Mark handed me the tagging gun, and we were off in search of the whale shark, the biggest fish in the ocean. Suddenly, this 8-meter giant appeared and began to swim slowly next to us. It was a thrilling moment, and I felt humbled by the sheer size of this magnificent animal. It seemed to tolerate our presence, and unlike the first whale shark we'd seen, it didn't make straight for the depths. It gave us an opportunity to swim with this docile creature, an opportunity that I certainly wasn't going to miss. It was time to place the tag next to the dorsal fin. This was the moment of truth. I couldn't believe it, I'd missed. But Mark quickly reloaded the dart and I had a second chance. The whale shark seemed to be unaware of what was going on, but it had begun to speed up, perhaps bored of our company. It was hard just keeping up with him, and I realised I wouldn't get a third chance with the dart. It was now or never. Swimming as fast as I could, I approached the shark once more. success. I'd hit the bullseye, I'd done my challenge, and the shark hadn't even noticed. With this tag and others, scientists will be able to better protect this magnificent fish.
We did it!
Well done.
That was just fantastic. It was such a huge whale shark, and it stayed with us for such a long time. That really is the biggest fish in the world, and I got to grips with it with a lot of help from Mark, so thank you, Mark, because that is challenge complete. What an awesome animal.
Well done, and just remember, not only have you completed your challenge, but you've made a massive contribution to whale shark, the understanding of whale sharks around the world with that one tag. Fantastic, well done.
Brilliant. Thanks. What an experience.
For Jamie's first challenge, it's off to the crystal clear waters of the Caribbean, and believe me, this challenge had a very large sting in its tail.
Well, I'm here in the Cayman Islands and the water is fantastically warm. But unfortunately, I'm not here for the swimming. I'm here to find out my next challenge, and it is to cover myself in an underwater blanket. Well, blankets are wide and flat, and the one thing that I know that lives underwater in the Cayman Islands that's wide and flat and well known is the stingray. So I'm going to have to cover myself in stingrays. But I tell you what, I really hope I don't get stung. The Cayman Islands has a unique stingray dive site. It's called Sandbanks, and up to 150 stingrays gather there at any one time. If I was to create an underwater blanket, this was the place to do it. So I hopped on a local dive boat and headed out to sea. Well, we've reached the dive site, and there are plenty of stingrays around already. As you can see, these enormous black clouds gliding around under the water. Now I've got to dive in there, lie on the bottom and wait for them to cover me. And I'm a little bit nervous. This is Fraser. He runs a dive operation out here and comes to see the stingrays pretty much every day. Now, Fraser, when I go in the water, what should and shouldn't I do?
Now, in its mouth, the stingray doesn't have teeth, but it has some very hard jointless pads.
Okay.
So when we're actually feeding a stingray, they won't actually bite the squid, but we have to have our squid open in the hand, just
Right.
like you would feed a horse.
Right.
And it would come in and suck
Really?
the actual squid off your hand. And yes, the stingray does have a barb on the tail, hence
Okay.
its name stingray. And the species we have out here are the southern stingray.
Right.
But it's very, very rare that somebody out here is going to get stung. Okay.
Well, sounds easy, and if they're as friendly as Stevie the stingray here, should be fine. The stingrays were gathering in numbers now, waiting for me to enter the water. But to increase the chances of a successful challenge, there was one more thing left to do. Now, just to make sure I do the job properly, I've got a secret weapon up my sleeve. I'm going to turn myself into a stingray breakfast bar with the aid of a certain amount of squid. This absolutely stinks. I've never, ever smelled so bad. Ugh. Ugh. It's disgusting. Even more stingrays had now appeared. There were so many of them, the sea seemed to turn black in places. It was time to finish suiting up and get in amongst all those hungry mouths. As far as they were concerned, I was one giant squid ready to be sucked up. Just a couple of extra treats, I think. With the last 2 squids stuffed up my sleeves, I'd completed the transformation from scuba diver to walking stingray takeaway. No one had tried this before, so no one knew how the stingrays would react. Right, well, there's nothing for it. It's time to go and get covered in stingrays. As I entered the water, stingrays began appearing from nowhere, attracted by the bits of food that I was leaving in my wake. I swam away from the boat, looking for a suitable stingray picnic site. The sandy bottom was alive with rays, and the whole seabed burst into life as I passed over. Within seconds, all I could see were the dark and white flashes of their wings. I was being mobbed. They were all over me, sucking up the tasty morsels of food. There were times I could no longer see the water, as ray after ray covered my face, body and hands. This was a feeding frenzy, but thankfully one without teeth. It was an unbelievable sensation as they all tried to get a taste of the giant squid called Jamie. I was really trying to keep clear of their tails where the stings are, but in all the confusion that was proving almost impossible. So, keeping my fingers out of the way, I waited until the feeding died down. Eventually it did, and the stingrays returned to the deep.
That was amazing. I must say, when I first got down there and I had those ones sticking out of my sleeves, I got onto the bottom and they just went woof, and came in, and it was quite a shock, and I was guzzling my air. And literally, it's like being sucked by an enormous hoover, but they feel a bit like a fried egg. The sort of skin is very smooth leather. But it was absolutely amazing. They just come in, smother you, sucking my hair and my face. But anyway, after all that, that is the most amazing challenge completed.
For Ellie's first challenge, she gets to grips with some of the most terrifying jaws in the animal kingdom. This is one trip where she doesn't want to forget her toothbrush.
I'm in Australia with Frodo here, who's an agile wallaby, and he's only 9 months old, so he's very cute. It's time for my challenge, Frodo. Clean the teeth of a crocodile? Wow, well I know that crocodiles have got 68 teeth, so I'm going to need a very big toothbrush. I've definitely got my work cut out for me on this challenge. It's time for me to get my toothbrush, and I'd better make it snappy. What do you think, Frodo? You're a bit little for this challenge.
I left Frodo and headed for Crocodilus Park, where I met up with Dr. Adam Britton, who has been studying the crocodiles in Australia for 10 years. Crocodilus is home to hundreds of crocodiles, some of which like to jump clean out of the water at feeding time.
Okay, Adam, my challenge is to clean the teeth of a crocodile, and there are lots of crocodiles around here, including this one. Can I clean some of these teeth?
Well, we could do, but to be perfectly honest, it's a lot more exciting to catch crocodiles in the wild. And there's also some very valid reasons why we should be looking at wild crocodile teeth.
Okay.
So we need to go and get ready.
Okay.
Let's set off and we'll leave her alone.
Let's go and catch a croc.
Okay.
Adam and I had just a few miles to travel to the local river, where we hopped on board a boat and began our croc hunting mission. If we were going to have to catch a croc, we were going to have to do it in the dark, so we made our way up the river and waited for the daylight to fade. The plan was to shine a bright light into the croc's eyes. That way we could see him, but he couldn't see us. The omens were good. There was even a croc-shaped cloud looking down on us from the sky. As the sun finally dipped below the horizon, it was time to break out the lights and find a croc who needed his teeth cleaned. It wasn't long before we got our first view of a crocodile at night, and Adam swung into action.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the croc was just too quick and got away.
Oh, that missed.
Undaunted, we continued our search.
There's another.
Yeah, we can see it. Oh, got him. Okay, I've got him. Whoa, hold on.
Well done.
Oh, at last.
We've definitely got him this
Yeah,
time.
we've got him.
Nice one.
The first job was to secure the crocodile's mouth to make it safe for both us and the crocodile.
Okay.
Next, we needed to get the crocodile into the boat. Easier said than done when you're lifting a very heavy and wriggly reptile.
Oh, there she goes.
Oh, there we go. Gosh, you can take your whole weight, can't you? She's wriggling around even with my whole weight on her. So She's very powerful, but we seem to have got her calm now.
Oh, I think we have.
For Adam's research, it was essential to measure the length of the crocodile. 88 centimetres. After a whole day of looking, the challenge is still here. I still have to clean the teeth of the croc. So here we go. Now, why are we taking these scrapings from the teeth?
Well, as you know, crocodiles are very good at biting things, and occasionally they bite people. But when you get bitten by a crocodile, all of these teeth are absolutely covered with all kinds of nasty bugs, bacteria, funguses, and they can cause some very serious infections to the bite.
I see.
So what you're doing is you are collecting some samples, which we're going to send down to the University of Adelaide and get them tested to find out exactly what kinds of bacteria and bugs are on the teeth. So next time you get bitten by a crocodile, hopefully that won't happen, but if you do, we'll know exactly how to treat the wound.
Fantastic. So this is all for a good reason.
So this is really good stuff, yeah. This is helping victims of crocodile bites.
Okay, I've got my little bit of plaque here, which might save somebody's life. So what do I do with this, Adam?
Well, you just need to put it into the jar.
Okay.
Just wash it off into the solution.
With the plaque safely collected, it was time to let our crocodile go.
Okay, just let it go.
Give this a tug.
Yep, give it a sharp tug.
Doesn't seem to want to come. There it is.
There you go. There she goes.
So she goes. Okay, that's the end of a very long day. We've seen lots of crocodiles, and I've cleaned the teeth of a crocodile, which is definitely challenge complete. Thank you very much, Dr. Britton.
Congratulations, Ellie.
Thank you.
Well, that's programme 1 done and 100% success rate. Put it there, guys. Yes!
Well, I've got to say, my underwater blanket was pretty cosy, and actually, I'm feeling quietly confident about the whole thing.
No, Jamie. Your challenge was so much easier than mine and Michaela's,
no.
and that just goes to show girls are tougher than boys.
That's fighting talk, that is. We'll see you next time. Bye.